Hi. You know, there's a part of the book that we don't always think about. It's the very last section. It's called Closing Thoughts. I'm speaking about the book, The Reconnection, Heal Others, Heal Yourself. It's called Closing Thoughts, The Wonder of It All. And it goes something like this. In this book, we've discussed healing as discovery, as theory, and healing as practice. But in closing, there's one aspect I really want to emphasize. Healing as miracle. By miracle, I mean exactly that. A wondrous event manifesting a supernatural act, maybe of God. Of course, now let's think about this. In a universe of quarks and black holes and at least 11 dimensions, supernatural doesn't really mean what it used to, does it? Then again, neither does God. Still, the sense of awe and wonder that comes when the impossible occurs never really diminishes. You see, when you facilitate these healings, you're not just assisting one person's healing. You're helping usher in a transformation of a magnitude heretofore unknown. Now, I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to tell you that after I read this segment to you, we're going to have a short break, maybe about 15 minutes or so. I'm going to come back and answer some of the questions. What I just read, and I'm going to read that to you again, is going to pertain to one of the first questions. When you facilitate these energies, you're not just assisting one person's healing. You're helping usher in a transformation of a magnitude heretofore unknown. People ask me if everyone has the ability to carry these frequencies, if everyone has the ability to carry these reconnective healing frequencies and become a healer. And my answer is yes, everyone can reach this level. But as Solomon says, eyes are blind, you know. It's only a few who dare to open their eyes. And often those that do are blinded by what they see. This, to me, is what Deepak Chopra meant when he said to me, remain childlike. Everything amazes children. They see the world as a brand new adventure each and every day. Put things in. Children are not blinded by anything that they see. Without being taught fear, they don't limit themselves with shoulds and shouldn'ts, obligatory ritual, or even seriousness. It's all a part of the wondrous universe they have come to inhabit. I feel that same excitement every day, every time I do reconnective healing. I experience it with a sense of newness and discovery, as if it were my very first time. Because with any one person, it is the very first time. And I know that as you practice reconnective healing, you feel this way also. As you learn reconnective healing, you will feel this way also. You are bringing into existence light and information that uniquely becomes, we could say the two of you, but really the three of you, including the infinite field of the universe. Call it God, call it love, call it what you will. When this gift first presented itself to me, I was already practicing as a doctor with a very large practice. Therefore, I presumed that this gift, I presumed that reconnective healing was about healing as we think of it, regaining the use of an arm or a leg, recovering from something. I knew that something very big was happening, and I called it healing because I thought it was about healing the way we think of it, or a bit more in the expanded doctor-patient miracle sense of the word. and because I wanted it to be about healing. That was how I viewed it. I now see that from the beginning, it was my intention for this gift to be about healing the way we think of healing, the way we've thought of it up until now. I wanted to understand it, to classify it, and most likely later, like most of us, I wanted to direct it and enhance it. Healing was the context within which I practiced, and the context within which lay the hidden limitations that I imposed upon reconnective healing. These weren't intentional limitations. They were simply those brought about by my inability to see further, to recognize from the very beginning that this was about something much larger. Human evolution, life progress. What I've come to recognize is that this is healing in a very different sense than we have been taught to perceive, understand, or even believe or accept. Reconnective healing is about an evolutionary process brought into existence through co-creation at the highest vibrational interaction with the universe, with these reconnective healing frequencies, as science refers to them today, of energy, light, and information. I have come to believe, well, let's put it to you this way. At the time I wrote the book, I said, I have come to believe that it is truly about the restructuring of our DNA. Now, years later, we have the scientific research to support this. But at the time of writing the book, I was even hesitant to say that much, not because for a moment I doubted it. It was just me judging. It was just me judging myself. It was just me judging you. It was just me wondering how I would be judged. Because the more we feel that we are being judged, is the more we judge ourselves, is the more we judge others. I was hesitant, but I pushed through it. When we move into what I call the transsensory or the transcend sensory, meaning we transcend, we move beyond our basic five senses, we move into a realm of coexistence with an energy and presence beyond what we have known before. My intention may well have redirected some of these things to fit the earlier scope of my beliefs and understanding, that limited scope. And while I teach that we are to get out of the way and not direct or even intend the form the healing is to take, I realized that in the beginning that I had been in the way from the very moment I made the decision that reconnective healing was about the doctor-patient miracle healing as we view it. The problem wasn't that I had intention. The problem was the specificity of the intention. It took my wide-eyed state of expectancy and, through the specificity of my desires and intentions, I viewed it through the narrowest scope of expectation. Deepak Chopra, author of what I consider to be one of the most important books any of us can read, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, explains that one of the laws of intention and desire is to relinquish your attachment to the outcome. This means giving up your rigid attachment to a specific result and living in the wisdom of uncertainty. To a degree, many of us do this now. To a degree. Many of us do this now. I did so to the extent that I relinquished my attachment to the outcome of the healings. I did. What I didn't do, however, was relinquish my attachment to the outcome being what we consider to be a healing. Therefore, I limited my own perspective. I limited my own experience. You and I may now move forward. To do so, we must stay conscious of our intentions, those so subtly ingrained that they hover, for the most part, just below our conscious radar. When they bleep in on our screen, it's our responsibility to examine them. Our hidden intentions affect the direction we take, often more strongly than our conscious intentions, because we are not sufficiently aware of them to bring them into the light of examination. If we don't know we have the fear, we don't know how to face it. Through the information imparted in the reconnection, you and many others are undergoing, all of us, our own evolutionary transition. You are now able to listen and hear with a different sense, to see with a new vision. You have learned to feel that which others have not yet felt. As you learn to experience this new awareness, you move into your existence as a transsensory being. In the training programs that we teach today, we take you much further than we did in the beginning. Because thank God, none of us are stagnant beings. We are continuing to learn, and we are continuing to share as we learn. Once you become a professional reconnective healing practitioner, when people come to you for reconnective healing sessions, you will hear when there's nothing audible to others. You will smell things and they will smell things when they might have no physical sense of smell at all. They will see when their eyes are closed and feel when, to the onlooker, there would be nothing to cause the feeling. That's when you know that you are escorting them into their new transsensory level of existence as well. And it is as exciting each time as it was when you discovered it for yourself. What you are doing is bringing light and information onto the planet. And where there is light and information, there can be no darkness. Through this light and information, among other things, come transformation and healing. You see, healing is not the how or the why, nor is it a recipe. It is a state of being. So, with your fear, step in to the light and information. Love becomes it. Then it becomes love. And it is the healer. You are at once the observed and the observer, the lover and the loved, the healer and the healed. Become one with the other person, then heal yourself. In healing yourself, you heal others. And in healing others, you heal yourself. Reconnect. Heal others. Heal yourself. Some things are difficult to explain. Miracles and reconnective healing. They speak for themselves. I'll be back in 15 minutes, and we're going to get to some of your questions.